If you've ever felt like money slips through your fingers no matter how hard you work, Jim Rohn had a shocking truth that explains why. And let me warn you, it's not about bad luck, the economy, or even lack of opportunity. The real reason people stay poor is far more uncomfortable, and once you see it clearly, you'll never look at your financial life the same way again. Hi, I'm Walt, and today I want to share Jim Rohn's brutally honest insight into why most people never break free from financial struggle. But before we get into his answer, let me ask you, how would your life change if you knew the exact pattern that keeps people stuck in poverty and how to break it? Now here's the twist. Jim Rohn observed that staying poor has almost nothing to do with intelligence or effort. He knew plenty of people who worked hard, yet still struggled. Instead, he said the real trap lies in the choices people repeat daily. Small decisions that don't seem dangerous at first, but quietly shape a lifetime of scarcity. Think about it. Most people don't suddenly end up poor. They drift there by habit. They spend a little here, delay self-improvement there, avoid risk, and convince themselves tomorrow will be different. Jim once said, "Failure is simply a few errors in judgment repeated every day." That's the silent engine that keeps people broke, not dramatic mistakes, but tiny repeated choices that add up. But here's the question. If the trap is so subtle, how do you even notice it in your own life? That's exactly what we'll dig into next. Jim revealed that the poor often misunderstand the power of time. They underestimate how small habits compound. Saving $10 seems meaningless, so they don't do it. Reading a book feels unimportant, so they skip it. Investing in themselves looks unnecessary, so they avoid it. Yet those same insignificant habits, when practiced daily, are exactly what create wealth. Meanwhile, repeating the opposite, neglect, avoidance, delay, ensures poverty stays locked in place. But let me challenge you with a powerful image Jim often used. Imagine planting two seeds, one of corn, one of weeds. At first, nothing happens. For weeks, the ground looks the same. But fast forward a few months, one produces food, the other overtakes the garden. Your daily actions are those seeds. Wealth or poverty grows silently, invisibly, until it's too late to ignore. Now here's where it gets really uncomfortable. Jim Rohn argued that most people stay poor because they seek comfort today instead of discipline tomorrow. They choose entertainment over education, excuses over responsibility, and immediate pleasure over long-term progress. Discipline, he said, weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. The poor live under the crushing weight of regret because they avoided the lighter weight of discipline. But wait, doesn't everyone know discipline matters? Why would people still avoid it? Jim explained it this way. The effects of neglect are never immediate. Skip the gym today, nothing changes. Spend recklessly this week, no disaster. Fail to invest in learning this month, life goes on. Poverty is delayed a punishment. By the time it's visible, the roots are already deep. Here's the twist though, wealth works the exact same way. Positive actions also have a delay. Save consistently, read daily, invest in your skills, and at first nothing dramatic happens, but time compounds it. Suddenly, years later, you seem lucky. But it wasn't luck. It was quiet, disciplined effort, compounding invisibly. Let me share an example. Jim once told the story of a man who drank 2 sodas every day. Small choice, harmless in the moment. But over 20 years, the cost of those sodas alone could have become a fortune invested. And the health effects? They compounded too. Tiny choices built a destiny. This wasn't about soda, it was about the principle. Poverty is built by comfort-driven habits, just as wealth is built by discipline-driven habits. Now let me ask you directly, what are the sodas in your life? Not literal drinks, but the small, repeated comforts draining your future potential. Identifying them is the first step to breaking free. But Jim didn't stop there. He exposed something even deeper, the role of philosophy. He said, "Your personal philosophy is the greatest determining factor in how your life works out. Poor people," he observed, "inherit philosophies like money is evil, life is unfair, or it doesn't matter what I do." These beliefs, often absorbed unconsciously, guarantee poverty. Because philosophy shapes attitude, attitude shapes actions, and actions shape results. Here's the loop. If you believe money is evil, you won't pursue it wholeheartedly. If you believe nothing you do matters, you won't act with urgency. And if you believe life is unfair, you won't take full responsibility. Each of these philosophies locks the door to wealth. So here's the shocking truth Jim Rohn wanted everyone to hear. People stay poor because they refuse to upgrade their philosophy. They cling to ideas inherited from parents, teachers, or peers who never created wealth themselves. Without realizing it, they adopt a mindset designed to keep them struggling. But here's the good news, and this is what I'll unpack in the next part. Jim believed anyone could escape poverty by deliberately choosing a new philosophy, a new set of daily disciplines, and a new circle of influence. The chains of poverty, he argued, are mental before they're financial. And once you break them mentally, wealth becomes not only possible, but predictable. So let me leave you with this question before we continue. If your current habits and philosophies are seeds, what exactly are you planting each day? Because your financial garden will grow, whether you like it or not. The only question is, will it grow weeds or will it grow wealth? Jim Rohn often warned that staying poor isn't a financial condition first, it's a mindset condition. He said, if you want things to change, you have to change. If you want things to get better, you have to get better. Think about that carefully. People often wait for the economy to improve, their boss to notice them, or luck to strike. But Jim argued that wealth begins only when you take full responsibility. No excuses. That's the turning point most people never reach. Now let's dig into why. Taking responsibility is uncomfortable. It means admitting that your bank account is the direct reflection of your philosophy and your daily habits. But here's the irony. The very moment you accept full responsibility is the exact moment you gain full power. Until then, you're a victim of circumstances. This is one of Jim's most shocking truths. Poverty thrives wherever people outsource their responsibility. But here's a loop that might surprise you. If responsibility is the key, what's the lock that keeps people from turning it? Jim said it was environment. He believes strongly that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your circle complains, blames, and drifts, you'll do the same. Wealthy people intentionally surround themselves with people who challenge, inspire, and elevate. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. Who are your 5? And if your 5 aren't helping you grow, what can you do to change that? Jim's answer was clear. If you can't find a wealthy circle, build one through books, seminars, recordings, and mentors. He called it designing your own environment. Poor people wait for a better environment. Wealthy people create one. But here's where Jim's insight goes even deeper. He exposed another reason people stay poor. They confuse activity with productivity. Have you noticed how many people are busy all the time, yet never advance? They rush, they hustle, they complain of exhaustion. But ask them what progress they've made on building wealth, and the answer is vague. Jim taught that poverty often hides behind busyness. He would say, "Don't mistake movement for achievement." So how do you shift from busy poverty to productive wealth? It comes down to clarity. Jim emphasized setting specific, measurable goals. Without goals, he said, people drift, and drifting guarantees poverty. With goals, even small steps create momentum. But here's the twist. Goals alone aren't enough. He insisted you must track your progress daily, because what gets measured improves. Now let me give you an example. A man sets a goal to save $5,000. Without a system, it stays a wish. With a system, setting aside a specific amount each week, tracking it, adjusting spending, suddenly the impossible becomes predictable. Jim pointed out that wealthy people love systems because systems guarantee consistency. Poor people rely on hope, and hope, he said, is not a strategy. But there's another layer to this shocking truth. Jim revealed that people stay poor because they chase shortcuts. They fall for get-rich-quick schemes, lottery tickets, or shortcuts that promise wealth without discipline. And every shortcut they chase delays real wealth building. He put it bluntly. The major value in life is not what you get. The major value is what you become. Wealth is the result of who you become in the process, not what you chase in the moment. Now here's something Jim believed passionately. Poverty is not about lack of resources. It's about lack of resourcefulness. Wealthy people find ways, poor people find excuses. Imagine two people facing the same challenge. One says, "I can't afford it." The other asks, "How can I afford it?" That one shift in language unlocks creativity, opportunity, and solutions. Jim argued that this difference in resourcefulness is one of the clearest dividing lines between poverty and wealth. So, let's recap Jim Rohn's shocking truth. People stay poor because they drift on bad philosophies, repeat small errors in judgment, avoid responsibility, surround themselves with the wrong people, confuse activity with achievement, and chase shortcuts instead of practicing discipline. Every one of these reasons points back to choice. Poverty, in Jim's view, is not an external destiny. It's an internal decision. But let me close with his liberating insight. If poverty is chosen, so is wealth. Wealth is the daily decision to plant better seeds, practice better habits, adopt better philosophies, and surround yourself with better people. You don't have to transform everything overnight. Start with one decision today: a book, a skill, a saving habit, a new circle of influence. Each small choice begins rewriting your financial destiny. So let me ask you plainly, are you willing to pay the ounce of discipline today, or will you keep carrying the tons of regret tomorrow? Because Jim Rohn's shocking truth is this: people stay poor because they never answer that question honestly. The wealthy do, and their answer is always discipline.